All right, let's take a look now at another impact of Bill 96, this time on Montreal's English CEGEPs, because what is taught in the hallways of McGill and John Abbott College, it's changing, and Vanier and all the others. It's going to be changing due to Bill 96. It will impact one of our Big Five panelists quite a bit. Christina Chough joins us now. She's chair of the Modern Languages Department at Dawson College. Christina, welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Elias. Thanks for having me.
So, Bill 96 increases the amount of French language courses that are taught at the CEGEP level to English students. That means something has to go. Tell us about the effects on you and your colleagues at Dawson.
Well, I guess, I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when we try to put together pedagogy, it's not something that we do from the top down. It's really something that has to be structured over years. And so the CAQ's decision to impose more French at the CEGEP level, while it's not a bad idea in and of itself, the way that it's being done makes absolutely no sense because it's really a top-down decision. It's politics over pedagogy. And so, that's our first complaint with the whole prospect of the project. So there are lots of elements that don't make any sense. We're going to take the students from two classes in French. Students have always taken two classes in French or of French at the CEGEP level. And now the idea is to integrate three more classes. And as you said, something's got to go. So what is it that we're going to lose in order to make room for these French classes? And the only place that we can do that is by cutting complementary courses. Yeah. So, most people remember that complementary courses were the electives that they took. Those were the things that got them out of their regular program of study.
And the fun stuff. The fun stuff. Like going to Dawson, I remember this so well. I loved those complementary courses. And it lets you learn, just dabble in some other things, right? Which is very important. Sorry to cut you off, but I just love those courses.
No. But that's just it. And that's the point exactly. You loved them and all students love them. And it's super motivating for students to be able to go outside their boxes, explore, dabble in something that may be outside their program, just to explore and broaden their horizons, because that's the whole point of education, especially higher education. How are people going to know how they're going to integrate themselves into society without knowing what they like and what they're passionate about? So languages tend to really expand people's horizons. If it's only just to travel, and that's probably the most literal sense of expanding your horizons, isn't it? So now the government wants us to add three more classes. Where are they going to come from? They're coming from complementaries. Now, Elias, when you were a student at CEGEP, you had 4 complementary classes. And over the past decade, students have only had 2 complementary classes. And now with with Bill 96,
they're
Law
both gone.
14, they're both gone.
Wow.
And so students are going to really only be left with maybe one complementary course. And in order to satisfy the needs of having these 5 courses in French, all the complementaries are going to be given in French. So we've asked the logical question, Ministry of Higher Education, can we teach our language courses in a framework of French? And the answer was no. So because we don't teach in French, we cannot teach a language in French. We are losing all of our students.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Right now at Dawson, what languages are taught, aside from English and French, what languages are taught right now in your modern languages program?
Well, that's another thing. A lot of people think that modern languages includes French, and that's not the case. In all of the English CEGEPs, French and English are their own distinct departments. And so in modern languages, we teach Spanish, German, Italian, Mandarin, Hebrew, and Greek.
Okay, so obviously we can't touch the last one. But I'm kidding, of course. So what are you going to do? So are some of these languages done from being offered? What will happen now to these 6 languages?
Well, look, there are 14 teachers at Dawson. 7 of us have tenure. And so right now, based on what they projected as of February 29th, they are figuring that there might be one section of each of the languages that goes to the fourth level. And so there are only three of those. So Spanish, Italian, and German go to the fourth level. The other languages are all part-time positions. They're non-tenured positions. And currently the college isn't sure if it's going to be able to staff its tenured teachers. So it looks like we're going to lose all of our non-tenured staff. Those are the ones that teach Mandarin, Hebrew, and Greek. And even some of the teachers that teach in the larger disciplines may not have workloads.
We're with Christina Chough, who is the chair of the Modern Languages Department at Dawson College. She's telling us about the changes that will happen to her department under Bill 96. Christina, let me ask you this question. And it's devil's advocate kind of question, because I've heard I've seen the nationalists on social media with fake, like they're doing crocodile tears, right, over this subject, and they're saying, look at Anglophones learning more French into a bad thing, right? So what do you say to someone that says, wait a minute, there's a benefit here, 3 more courses in French, that means that these students will graduate CEGEP, have a better understanding of French, be better capable of living and working in Quebec, and that is a net positive overall. What do you say to that?
I say that you don't structure from the top down. You don't start with the Ministry of Higher Education and then work your way down. You start in elementary school and you build your way up to this. At least you started in high school. And so all of the high school students that came in this year, and especially the ones that are going to come in August, they're being subject to a new law that they were never pedagogically structured for. So these students are not being set up for success. They're being thrown another curveball after being pandemic students who are already behind. So I think that the students that are entering CEGEP now after all the pandemic years of teaching are already at a disadvantage. And so now we're adding an extra layer of complication. Not only that, but almost half of our students at the CEGEP level are francophone or allophone anyhow. So coming in and saying that they're going to have a better mastery of French when they already have graduated from French high school is not the right means to go. And then finally, when you consider that education in English is always 50-50 French English education at the elementary level, plus all of the French enriched programs, Le Français Plus, where 85% of education in elementary school is done in French. This is not something that's going to help Anglophone CEGEP students. The Anglophone CEGEP students have already been well served by their Français Plus and their bilingual French-English education. So this law really applies to the Gen Xers that have already finished CEGEP. This is an out-of-touch policy.
Christina, listen, I asked you that devil's advocate question, and your response, I mean, that is a great argument. And I just found my old diploma from graduating high school, right? Bilingual program, right? Which is what I did. And you highlight the fact, Anglophones in Quebec, right? 1/3 of them send their children to French school. The 2/3 that send them to the English system, well, of those 2/3, 85% do immersion or bilingual. You know?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear this, Christina. I'm sorry to hear that. And there's no change. This isn't going to change. This is happening. There's no way out of this one.
And, there's no way out of this because there's never any government in Quebec that's going to repeal this. So the 5 courses in French are here to stay. Yeah. And
you remind me that the Liberals are the ones, remember, they were the one who made the suggestion to throw these courses in the first place.
It's such a gong show. And, the issue at hand now isn't that it's 5 courses. It's that the government hasn't even defined how many hours are supposed to be done. So it's just totally disorganized. It's haphazard. It's politics over pedagogy.
Bring back Greek. I'll start the plan. Bring back Greek. Christina, thanks so much. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Christina Chough is chair of the Modern Languages Department at Dawson College.